Sports Wrap on.
We're getting our Sports Wrap on right now at Junction Bar and Grill, everybody. It is 8:20 on a beautiful Thursday night. It's a little clammy outside, but you know what? That's H-Town. You never know what the weather's going to do in the springtime, but we want to remind you guys, spring forward real soon. This weekend, I believe, you're going to have to set your clocks forward, and that's good because we're just getting closer and closer.
Why do we still use that, by the way?
Because that just gets us 1 hour closer to March Madness.
Isn't that still set up for farmers? Isn't that why we do
farms
that?
anymore?
Hey, I know some great farmers. I know some really good farmers.
No, they use the sun or they use like heat lamps?
right. Good question. Well, hey, welcome back to Sports Wrap Live, everybody. You know, we keep our eyes on the Sports Talk throne. You guys have heard the ad right there on Sports Talk 790. But we also keep our eye on the diamond, and spring training it's in full effect right now. We got games going on in every show leading up to opening day. We're going to look at each division to give you guys a preview and our predictions, as Andrew will have his eyes on the diamond all season long as we approach opening day 2012.
So today we're going to look at the NL West. I think last time we did the NL East, and then next Sunday, we'll have the NL Central. So we're kind of been building up, kind of picking divisions, looking at what's going on. And then I think after we get done with this, we'll kind of start talking about really looking at closely what's going to happen, because the season will be pretty much a couple weeks away when we get to that point.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about the Giants now, and Giants had won not only the division, but the championship in 2010. So 11 was kind of a year where they were trying to,
Well, first and foremost, they lost their all-star catcher, Buster Posey, early in last season.
Yeah. But it was sort of those, they were trying to hold on to the throne. They lost Andres Torres to the Royals. Jonathan Sanchez, they traded to the Royals as well. Carlos Beltran left them in the trade last year, or in the offseason, to the Cardinals. Cody Ross left to the Red Sox. Mark DeRosa left to the Nationals. Orlando Cabrera is still a free agent, and Jeff Keppinger, who used to be on the Astros, but we traded him, he went to the Rays.
Isn't Orlando Cabrera like 48 years old now?
Yes.
He's older than Jose Canseco, who apparently will not be playing in the Mexican League this year because...
Well, I saw him the other day playing in the Mexican League. What are you talking about?
No, he admitted to doing testosterone, injecting testosterone.
The Mexican League can't be that stringent. I mean, come on, Mexican League.
Hey, they let Kenny Powers in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
La Flama Blanca.
That says it all right there. Tell us who the Giants picked up.
They picked up Angel Pagan from the Mets, Melky Cabrera from the Royals, who had a pretty good season in 2011, Ryan Cherio from the Cards. That's pretty much about it. Injuries, you already touched on it. Buster Posey. It was a devastating injury because he not only is probably their best offensive player, but he controls that pitching staff too, so that's a major loss for them. Last season, like I touched on, the reigning champs were them.
I was going to say with Posey, like there was this whole news report about Bochy, or the coach telling him not to block the plate, which is almost instinctual to do that. And I've known from years from me playing catcher, like that's what you're like trained to do. Like,
and you not only him, Gons, but there was also Carlos Santana, who's also a highly thought of catcher for the Indians that happened to in 2010.
So I'm real curious of like how he's going to go about playing that position and how reserved he's going to be, and if anything changes how he
or changes the position that he plays. Exactly. He might go to first base.
That goes into your very next point, that Bochy is not a very good manager.
Well, for all the reasons that he got praised for 2010 of him tinkering, and he made all the great moves to get them to win that World Series, but it's sort of the same reasons of why they hurt them last year, because just juggling Brandon Belt, who Brandon Belt probably was their second best player last year offensively, but just getting him, yo-yoing him between the minor leagues, then he's at the majors, then he has a cold streak, so you send him back down. His confidence just was never set because he never had an everyday role in that team. They could never figure out where he was going to play.
Is Brandon Belt ready now?
I think he's very much ready now. I think he'll probably be one of their starting outfielders, or maybe their first baseman. The other thing they need to solve for this year is Ryan Vogelsong took a huge leap forward last year. Is he the same player, or was that sort of a flash in the pan? And of course, you still have Tim Lincecum.
Yeah.
So
Timmy. All right, well, let's move on to the Dodgers, who were a big mess over the offseason, of course, with the McCourts court battle and questions of management. It was a mess, and Don Mattingly really did a good job to get the MVP and the Cy Young out of this team.
Well, it's surprising they had two of those great players, but the other part of that, Adam, is that they really don't have that much talent around them. Exiting, they lose Hiroki Kuroda to the Yankees and Casey Blake to the Rockies. So they're not really losing much. They really need to build this team around. But how do you feel if you're Matt Kemp and Clayton Kershaw, and this is who management brings in? Aaron Harang from the Padres. Okay, good, not great. Chris Capuano.
Is he officially a monkey?
No. Chris Capuano from the Mets. I mean, Mark Ellis from the A's, Jerry Harrison from the Nats, Adam Kennedy from the Mariners. These are good bench players. These aren't good everyday players to bring and sort of build around your two superstars. So, last season's issues, I think are going to be this season's issues are, two superstars, but what else do you have? The McCourt thing is still kind of hanging over them. They still haven't figured out who's going to own that team or what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think they have a couple young good stars aside from those guys. Jerry Sands kind of came up and had a little bit of success. D. Gordon, who is Flash Gordon's son, he's a very interesting little shortstop to watch.
It wasn't too long ago Flash Gordon was still pitching.
Yeah. I remember him.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm getting old. The next team we have is the Diamondbacks, and this is a team that really took a huge step forward and a big leap forward last year, Adam, because they kind of went from a team that was sort of on the verge to being a division winner and someone that we thought could maybe go around or maybe some more.
Kirk Gibson, manager.
Yeah, manager of the year, incredible job. They're losing Jared Parker and Callan Cowgill because they traded them to the A's, but they're getting Trevor Cahill. So they sort of traded two prospects to get someone that's established. They're also bringing in Takashi Saito from the Brewers, Mike Jacobs from the Royals, who that's not that big of a deal, and Jason Kubel from the Twins, who could really help them.
Sure.
The big injury, and this is really going to be the biggest question for them going into this season is how is Stephen Drew going to respond from his ankle injury? He's still not healthy.
Top 3 player on that squad.
Oh, easily. He's the shortstop.
Yep.
He leads them defensively in the infield. He leads the whole defense. So that's a really big issue. Some of the storylines from 2012 were Josh Collmenter. Really, how good is he? Because he took a big step forward and helped them, but we really don't know how good he's going to be this year. Same thing goes for Ryan Roberts. He sort of stepped into that third base role and helped them out, so we'll see. This season, I'm looking for Paul Goldschmidt as a prospect. What's he going to do? And you still have to talk about Justin Upton. This kid is probably the reason they made it as far as they did last season. An incredible talent. One of the Upton brothers. I think he could win multiple MVPs whenever he really hits his stride.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to the Rockies. That's one of your favorites. I know you love following the Rockies.
Yeah, they fell on hard times.
Jim Tracy basically has a blank check for his next some odd years as the manager.
Jim Tracy, not a very good manager, by the way. So they lost Ty Wigginton to the Phillies, Chris Iannetta to the Angels. A pretty big move is they traded Houston Street to the Padres. They'll kind of let him go.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. That's a pretty big deal because that's a closer.
Why is Houston Street basically falling down the ladder instead of moving up the ladder? He went to a decent contender with the A's. They were still in the mix.
Maybe he likes the West Coast.
Yeah, I don't know. But now he's playing with the Padres, who are basically a farm team. And we'll get into the Padres.
We'll get into them in a minute. Yeah, they traded Casey Weathers, who was probably the closer to be in the future, to the Cubs. Jason Hamel to the O's, to the Orioles, and Matt Lindstrom, who is formerly an Astro, to the Orioles as well. They brought in Tyler Chatwood. That's a terrible decision. They brought in Ramon Hernandez from the Reds. That's an okay decision, as for their catcher. Brandon Wood was maybe the worst, one of the worst failed prospects I've seen in a long, long time. He's pretty bad. Tyler Colvin, that's just also not a good move as well. Casey Blake is aging. They brought in Jamie Moyer. That's kind of cool because he's probably going to hit some milestones, but
how
the dude throws 82.
He was pitching in baseball when this song came out.
He's pitched for like 5 decades, Adam. He's touched part of 5 different decades. So it's just all these players they're bringing in aren't going to help them put them over the top. These are nice filler guys. The big injury they still have is Jorge De La Rosa, who's coming off of his Tommy John surgery.
Sure.
They're bringing in Michael Kadire, who's probably the best player that they have that they're bringing in. From last season, Tulowitzki made another huge run, but they traded Ubaldo Jimenez because they kind of realized they were out of it. Yeah. This season, I really don't know where things are headed. Alex White, he got an extreme DUI.
Wait. Hold up.
He didn't call who he needed to call.
Hold up, Jay. Did you say extreme DWI?
Extreme DUI.
Do you know who you call if you get an extreme DWI? I don't care if you get an extreme or a minor DWI, any kind of DWI, you are going to call Gary Trichter. That's H-Town's top DWI lawyer. Because if you're going to drink, have a non-drinking designated driver right here at Junction Bar and Grill to take you home. Or, like I've told you, spend a couple dollars, take a cab or a limo. If you're balling like that, you want to bounce out of here in a limo, hey, do it. Or, worst case scenario, you go lay it down right here at the Junction Bar and Grill RV and spend the night there. It's better than spending the night in jail, and both cost a lot less than calling Gary Trichter. But if you do decide to drink and then drive, don't have any open containers of alcohol in your car gone.
That's just stupid.
Last night we were celebrating, gave you a bottle of that Peach Ciroc for your birthday.
I know I felt extra ballerish.
Well, you should. You are balling. You're balling daytime, balling nighttime, doing what you
Lakers
do.
shoes and energy drinks. That's
Man.
the best combination ever.
And a hat.
And a hat.
You
And
know?
a hat to match.
Exactly.
But what I don't do is have
No.
an open container in my car.
Absolutely not. You go home and you crack it open with Mrs. Gons, and you know, hey.
There you go.
Yeah,
Because if not,
That's not a good look,
that's
son.
not a good
Exactly.
look, son. And if you do get stopped, do not answer any questions about drinking because the officer is not going to believe you anyway. He could ask you, Andrew, have you had a few drinks?
No.
You've been drinking Coke tonight,
Liar.
and it's on podcast, so we would have proof that you haven't been pouring.
Speak to my
anything.
lawyer, Gary Trichter.
Thank you very much, man, and continue to be polite. Even asking for your lawyer. If the officer says you can't have one, you ask for Gary Trichter. And remember, it's going to be on video, just like we are here on Sports Rap Live on our podcast.
so don't flash the camera.
Do not flash the camera, and make sure you walk in a straight line if they have you doing
Exactly.
curbside gymnastics. It's going to be very expensive for you guys. It could cost you up to $10,000 and 6 months in jail.
That's
So you do not even
that's
want to go there
insane.
because then you can't come join us here on Sports Rap
My
Live.
wallet is crying here and there.
It is crying. I hear it crying right now in your
I know.
pocket. But you know what? If that happened to you, Gons, you
Yes.
call 713-524-1010.
Already.
713-524-1010.
That is saved on my phone.
But, you know, call them in Houston. And if you want to know more about these laws, visit TexasDWILaw.com. That's TexasDWILaw.com. But if you're in San Diego, I don't know if we can help you. But San Diego is a party city, no matter if the Padres are winning or losing, Andrew. So why don't you talk a little bit about what the Padres have to look forward to?
Yeah,
other
this is the
than
last team.
Houston Street.
This last team, they've made a bunch of offseason moves, and they're now in position to have the best farm system in all of baseball, which is pretty impressive considering where they were a few seasons ago. They traded Matt Latos for Yonder Alonso, Yasmani Grandal, and Edison Volquez. Those are three guys.
Could you speak English for us here, please?
Yes, Yasmani Grandal, Edinson Volquez. These are guys that the Reds kind of had, but they weren't going to help put them over the top. So maybe Matt Latos can. It's to the Padres' benefit now that they have a much deeper system.
Sure.
They also traded Simon Castro, who was kind of a fizzling prospect for them, and they brought in Carlos Quentin. I thought Carlos Quentin could have had a really good, tenure over there whenever he's with the White Sox, but it never really developed, so he's going to help them. They traded Anthony Rizzo for Andrew Kashner and some other pieces. I'm not so sure about that trade, but we'll see.
Art to the Rizzo.
Yeah. They brought in Houston Street, we were just talking about, so that's a big name, but they lost Heath Bell at the same time, so that kind of solves that gap. That kind of addresses their closer need. From there, I mean, it's really going to be a team of young kids. I'm really looking forward to watching Cameron Maben, though. This kid just signed a big deal. He's still super young. He's not a failed prospect in my view, at least. I think this is a team that they're probably not going to do very well for this season. But in the coming seasons, Adam, I think they're going to start to rise to the top because all this young talent they have is going to start to manifest itself on the major league level. So it's probably going to be a quiet season for them, but they're going to be right there on the verge in the next coming seasons.
Plenty of prospects.
I kind of feel like them, like I do about Toronto and the AL, where they're on the verge.
Sure.
They're on the verge of contending. I tell you right now, I'd rather be a Padres fan than a Dodgers fan right now, because at least the Dodgers.
What about an Astros fan?
Oh, I'd rather be a Padres fan.
Than an Astros fan?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, we're going to talk about the Astros. Do you want to hold it till next Thursday and we'll just go all March Madness on Sunday?
Sure.
Let's do that. That way we'll give our good people that come out at Sports Rap Live our Astros in-depth preview and our NL Central preview.
Sure, it sounds great.
All right, so we'll hold that. We'll hold off on the baseball. Maybe we'll touch on a little bit if there's any big news. But mostly we're going to be college basketball. But right now we are going to completely shift gears and get into some Sports Rap Live NFL nuggets. And I know my man, Bud B, wants to join in on this conversation. So give it up for your executive producer right here on SRL. Yes. Give it up to the Rap Pack as well that's in the building. The Gons family is here. My man, Chris Lloyd, we're going to get to you in just a little bit. Talk some Rockets, so I hope you're ready.
Please don't
some
get
blacktop battle. No.
Please don't get up.
No, do not get up. But one man that is going to get up and get out is Peyton Manning, and that is from Indianapolis. He is a free man, and no one could be happier than the New Orleans Saints, because not only are they looking for a QB maybe after this year, after not really taking care of the franchise quarterback, but the spotlight has shifted from the story of the Williams bounty system to the Hall of Fame quarterback who is now on the open market for a team that is looking for one piece of the puzzle to take their team to the next level. I'm going to start right here with Bun B. Your thoughts on the Peyton Manning release this week?
Well, I mean, I think we all saw it coming. Everybody knew this was inevitable, you know. It wasn't going to work given the position that the team was in as far as moving forward as an organization. I mean, they fired everybody that was cool with him, so, I mean, it was obvious he was not going to be sticking it around. And even after everybody got, you know, after they got rid of the different coaches and personnel, I still think, you know, in his heart of heart, Peyton Manning did not want to leave the Colts. I think he kind of wanted to, you know, start and end with the horseshoe, but the reality is that, you know, they'd already given him $20+ million last year. They couldn't afford to give him that kind of money this year. I still think them cutting Peyton Manning should be like, I don't want to say a warning, but at least a heads up to all the teams out there that are interested in picking him up, because I honestly feel like if he had it in him to win more rings, I think they would have kept him. Personally, I think they would have kept him.
Even with luck on the board and with the number 1 pick.
I still firmly believe that if they were 100% sure that Peyton Manning was going to come back and be able to be the same Peyton he was, that they probably would have kept him. Now, that being said, the Peyton he was before the injury was a little bit shaky itself. That being said, Peyton Manning is definitely Peyton Manning, and you know, any team in the NFL, I think, you know, outside of maybe 5, would be more than happy to have him. I just don't want it to be, and I know I'm going to probably get a little flack for this, I just don't want it to be our team.
Okay, that's your opinion. I'm going to ask Andrew, if Peyton is healthy, do you think he will still be the quarterback that we perennially saw him be with the Colts?
I'm not even sure he knows how to answer that right now, though, because we're talking about nerves, and I'm not a doctor, but we're talking about nerves regenerating and him being able to, you know, get the normal velocity he used to, being the same elusiveness, him being able to make those checkdowns. I read a report earlier today that he's not going to allow any team to look at his reports or at his arm before he signs.
Sure.
Because he doesn't want any team to sort of ding his value. So I have no idea. I do know that I've been reading through the reports today, and it seems like there's the amount of news that's come in on Peyton Manning has just been astounding, as who's on his list, whose list he's on, what they're talking about. If he doesn't want to play in cold weather cities, he doesn't want to play for this team because they have the same agent. I mean, it's a lot of rumors right now.
The NFC, because he would have to. Well, here's the funny thing. Everybody would say he would have to stop Eli from going to the Super Bowl. But who's to say that Eli would be stopping Peyton from going to the Super Bowl? I mean, don't get it twisted. Eli right now.
Who's got more rings?
I would take, Eli's got more rings, but I would take Eli on my squad right now because he's a younger cat.
So let's make the list of teams that he possibly cannot go to. Okay.
Number 1, the Texans.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait,
Patriots.
but Bun.
Oh, this is not the opinion part. I'm sorry.
No.
Please, go ahead, gentlemen.
Bun. Wait. Before we move on from that.
I'm just saying.
When we're not on the air, you think about it a little bit.
I mean, you have to give it consideration. I mean, you'd be ignorant to not at least give it consideration. You'd be ignorant not to, you know, weigh the options. But the reality is that, you know, for one, considering the cap, you know, we don't have the kind of money that I'm sure Peyton is looking for right now. He's going to be looking for at least $5 million and up. I'm going to say probably 5 is going to be the lowest he's going to go. And then, you know, we'd have to do a lot of maneuvering on this team to try to fit him in right now. And, you know, we still got a quarterback right now, fairly healthy himself. He's, you know, 30-year-old quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He's still got a lot of years in him. And I think we need to give him at least another season and give him an opportunity to take this team as far as we think it can go. I mean, he didn't get the chance last year. And I keep hearing people talk about, well, you know, he's never won a playoff game. Well, of course he hasn't won a playoff game. We've only had one, and he was injured for it. So, I mean, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater on this one.
Very great point. Here's the thing, though. With Peyton Manning, the offense that is run right now that is so successful is all bootlegs, rollouts, play action, get Arian involved, get the fullbacks involved, get the tight end involved. Peyton Manning is not a rollout quarterback, so I think that's the biggest argument for why he actually will not end up as Texans quarterback. Andrew, what's one team you think he will not play for?
I think you can pretty safely say Green Bay. If you have Aaron Rodgers, you'd rather have him, okay?
You got that cha-ching? Yeah, exactly.
New Orleans, Drew Brees, we've talked about how contentious it's been in their offseason talks.
But see, I could see Brees not being happy, not signing after next year, And you know what? Hey, maybe if something doesn't work out for Peyton this year, but he's healthy, he can end up in New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, if he performs.
Sure.
If he gets out there, he's healthy and he performs, and they're looking for a switch next year. But I don't see Peyton signing a one-year deal somewhere. Anyway,
you're right. That would be the scenario, though. For
New England. Obviously, Tom's
my
terrific.
team. I was going to say Patriots.
No way.
After that, okay, the Giants, Eli, after what he just did, you can't do that to him.
No.
I think Big Ben in Pittsburgh, he's already won you multiple rings.
Peyton's not going to
pretty
Pittsburgh.
safe.
Peyton's going to warm weather. Let's just, before you go through all these cold weather teams, Peyton's not going to Cleveland. Peyton's not going to Pittsburgh. Peyton's not going to Denver.
That sounds a lot like LeBron right now.
Peyton is not going anywhere but Miami, Florida, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm saying
he's going Don
Arizona.
Johnson. He's going Don Johnson
Look,
on it.
Bun made the best point last night at Raging Cajun for Gonz's birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Bun said, happy birthday. Bun said, why not? He has had to build and run the city of Indianapolis for 14 years. Why not go to Miami where you can chill? You got a house. You've got LeBron. You got D Wade. You got Ozzie Guillen. You got
the
Burley.
Thing is, in the state of Indiana. You know, Peyton Manning has been the face of sports. Especially and more specifically in the city of Indianapolis.
The industry.
You know, I mean, he's the #1 tourist attraction. You know, he's brought in more money than anything else. He's built, infrastructure in this city. He's done a lot to contribute to the city, but that's also a lot of pressure. And he goes to Miami, they got the whole Big Three thing going down there. The Marlins are doing pretty good. He's going to get notoriety. He's going to have fans. He's going to get the attention he needs, but he doesn't have to carry the city of Miami on his back. It'll be a relief. He's already got a house there, so the kids have got toys. He's got cars there. The wife's got some furniture that she's probably going to want to change out. And plus, the warm weather's going to be good as far as his neck, as far as his conditioning.
Why do you live in this city? It sounds like Miami's awesome. I want to go.
Miami's a great city.
Can we go broadcast in Miami pretty soon?
I know you were there for Valentine's Day, right?
We'll take trips, man, but Houston's home.
Of course.
All that talk sounds so much like LeBron, though. That's
But
crazy how it's parallel, because it was kind of the same thing with him. Like, he had Cleveland on his shoulder, everything.
If LeBron would have gone, listen to me. If LeBron would have gone press conference, Cleveland, I love you to death, but I gotta go on and get this mission accomplished.
They're still gonna hate.
I cry. I do, everything that I in my power, but I gotta go. It would have been a lot different than going on ESPN in Connecticut of all places and having a remote location.
I'm just gonna leave it on this. I am buying stock of him going to the Cardinals. I like the idea of the look with him and Larry Fitzgerald. I like the look that they could bring in Reggie Wayne with him.
You do that in Miami.
Well, Reggie's going. I got a feeling that Reggie is willing to go anywhere that Peyton's going. To be quite honest, it's got nothing to do with Miami. Wherever Peyton goes, Reggie's willing to take that ride.
No.
Let's just understand that.
First and foremost, before we go to break, I know we're getting up on it. Kenneth Supreme on Twitter, thanks for tuning in, but he wants them to go to the Cowboys. He is not going to the Dallas Cowboys.
I think he should have ruined that team.
Oh, God.
That's going to be a bigger drama.
Peyton Manning is also not going to the Jets. He is not going into a fractured locker room across the hall from his brother. No way. He's going to end up in Miami, and maybe, slim possibility, the Texans. We're going to ask somebody who knows football and is playing NFL football.
Last question. When do you think this is all resolved? In a week? 2 weeks? Or waiting till when?
Yeah, because you got OTAs starting.
Yeah, no, we're going to know something on this Peyton Manning thing within 10 days or less. I don't even think it's going to go the full 2 weeks.
We're going to ask Arian Foster himself when he joins us here on Sports Rap Live later in the 9 o'clock hour. And you know what? The Saints got a bounty out on some new receivers. Randy Moss could be there, but that's the least of your worries right now. So we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into more sports talk right here on Sports Rap Live. Still to come, Chris Lord of the Houston Rockets. The Blacktop Battle is right around the corner. You guys stick around. We might even give away some Rockets tickets right here on Sports Rap Live.
Well, I need to go call.